Hello, guys, and welcome to the Heritage Agendas Football Podcast. This is episode number 10
Yes, sir.
with myself and abdiisalah. How are we doing?
I'm doing well, bro. Alhamdulillah. How are you?
It was a good, I'm good, bro. It was good. It was a long week. It was a very, very long week, but we're here,
Yeah.
and
Long week and a hot day today. Subhanallah.
I know today feels like
Mm.
110. Yeah, I don't know how it is where you are, but it's like 100 and it feels like 110. So this is disgusting.
Yeah, I was like in my car and it was, I think, 97. Oh my God.
That's terrible, man.
Subhanallah.
Yeah, no, I stepped outside for like 2 seconds. I was like, I will not be going outside. I'm going right back
For the
inside.
rest for the rest of the day
For
today,
the
yeah.
rest of the day, I'm literally staying out. But it was a very, very eventful week of football. Football is back, which is exciting. Uh,
Absolutely.
and we saw from the last time we talked, even a couple of things
hmm
happened. We'll start with transfers, like we did last week, and we'll keep on doing through the end of the window. But
Yeah.
we talked about Michael Olise going to Chelsea. That
Yeah.
crumbled, kind of the way Caicedo to Liverpool did. And Jeremy Doku just went to Man City, 60
hmm
million, so they get their right winger, and they re-signed Bernardo Silva. Initial thoughts on both of those moves, and what you think?
For Elise, I'm getting like Zaha flashbacks, you know? Like, is this guy is gonna be there his whole career? I think he signed a
4 years, I
4 year
think.
deal.
Yeah,
Yeah, 4 year deal. And I'm pretty sure the numbers were spectacular for him to,
probably. Yeah,
even resign. Um, but uh, Chelsea finally missed out on somebody. It's shocking, but
and they signed a keeper
I
the next day, 16
yeah,
mil.
yeah, exactly. It's hard to keep track of now, but what do you think of Elise staying?
I was surprised. I thought that it was pretty much a done deal, which we're
Yeah.
talking about how Chelsea and how swift they are. So to see it kind of go the other way was interesting. But it's good for Crystal Palace to hold on to probably their best player.
hmm
So and they're a good team, to be honest. So I really watched them this week with the game against Arsenal. So they're a good team, and it's good to see that talent kind of dispersed well throughout the league. I think it makes for better games. Uh, in terms of the Doku signing, I'm interested to see because Pep doesn't usually click well with those players who are very like free flowing. They like to dribble a lot more so than kind of pass and move wingers.
Yeah.
Uh, and Doku is more so of that dribble, beat one man, put in a cross type of winger versus pass and kind of hold in a system. I think it takes a very specific type of player to play under Pep. So I'm curious to see how he molds Doku and if he even fits that style.
Yeah, especially with over the last few years how they've been playing. Obviously earlier in like Pep's tenure, they had Sane and Sterling, so they were
Yeah.
a little bit more free flowing as well, not possession based as much. But now with like the system he's playing with four center backs at all times.
Yep.
So it's all he cares about mostly is just defending and just keeping the ball as much as they can. But Doku is very talented. Yeah, he's had a few injury problems as I was like looking into him. I think he missed like 2 years ago. I think he only played 14 games. And then last year he wasn't a starter for like most of the year. But he's from like just looking at the videos and stuff like
The
that. He's
Euros, he was
extremely
crazy.
talented. Yeah,
Yeah.
extremely talented. Both feet, low center of gravity. And they don't have that kind of profile on the roster right now.
Nope.
Um, so Jack Grealish isn't that. But I think Pep, I think he just likes having options, you know. So I think this is a nice little mix to throw in. I don't think he's going to be contributing much at least this year. But in the long run, with somebody like Holland, like I think you need somebody like that that's able to beat their man always. I don't think Jack Grealish does that enough consistently. I don't think anybody on their team does that consistently. They need another creator with De Bruyne out for probably at least the rest of this year, not the season. But yeah, it's a good profile to have. 60 million, I thought I was a little bit high for somebody.
Welcome to this transfer
Yeah,
market.
exactly. So, but City have the money, and now obviously all summer, they missed out on Declan Rice. I think they stopped going in for Paqueta. I think now they're looking into the Wolverhampton midfielder.
Yep, Mateus
Um,
Nunez. Yep.
yeah, I think that will probably get done, but they're not done yet. They're just looking. I still don't think they've replaced Gundogan's like freaking 20 goals a year contributions at least. So they need bodies now, especially with De Bruyne out too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know. I saw someone on Twitter say
Mhm.
that there's a chance that this City team, with how defensive and well structured they are, could challenge that Chelsea. I've always seen that untouchable record of 15 goals allowed in 38 games. I
Yeah,
think that's foolish, but I'm
yeah.
curious to see if you think that's foolish as well.
Um, the way they looked at against Newcastle, I like at least just for that game alone, they looked so dominant. It was a good game. I think Newcastle is a very, very good team, but Diaz and Gavardio are mammoth. They're so big, so talented with the ball, everything physically. They completely neutralized Isaac. He was basically just doing nothing, cardio
Non-factor, yeah.
session for the 70 minutes he was on. But I think in this era, I don't. What was it? 15 goals? Was it? You
15
said
goals in 38
15?
games.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's happening.
Nah, I don't
Arsenal
think
will
so.
put five past them alone. So
I think the one team that I thought would get close was that Tuchel year. The year
hmm
after they won the Champions League, they were like compact, and even still, they I think had like 9 or 10 goals allowed in December when they were still top of the league. So, no, to put
yeah,
the 15 goals in 38 games is insane.
yeah,
I think
it's
that's as
hard to think about.
untouchable of a record as you'll see.
Absolutely. But you never know, man. Pep likes to set his mind on something, every year. I think it's a nice target to have. But that's just you just anything goes in the Premier League. It's very unpredictable.
That's very
But they
true.
have the team for it. Like, so it's not I wouldn't be shocked, but I don't think it'll happen.
That's true too. And let's kind of segue that. We talked about this guy a lot last week. He's
hmm
gonna obviously be in the news all the way until August 31st.
Yeah.
Mbappe, more Mbappe news, sadly. The
Yeah.
room now the news is that Madrid are gonna make an approach before the
hmm
end of the window, which I think I alluded to last week when we talked. But
Yeah.
he is supposed to be speaking after the game on Saturday,
Okay.
which I have no idea what he's gonna say, or even if he's gonna speak, because with him there is no guarantees, to be honest. So I don't know what you think about the news as an outsider. For me,
Um.
I'm like, this is just BS, Like, this is just interactions and media guys trying to get their clicks. Well, I don't know if you think anything's gonna happen, to be
I
honest.
like briefly saw it. I think somebody was like putting their career on the line because they had like a little scoop, saying he was gonna demand
PSG
a
community,
sale.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, but with Mbappe, it's so late in the window, and obviously this is how Madrid approaches things. They prefer it to be this way.
The chaos at the end, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't think. I think I would be more like I would. I'm expecting like either a contract extension, a 1 year extension, or something like that. I don't think him leaving is in the realm of possibility for me. I don't
Even
think
if
Real
they get
Madrid.
Barcola and Colomwani. Well, Muani, I
Yeah,
think, is done. Personal terms are agreed.
yeah, I saw that. But I think PSG are giving him everything he wants.
That's
Like
true.
in terms of playing style, in terms of teammates, all that stuff. They've laid out the red carpet for him. It's just time for him to commit. Like I think he probably believes in this project more than he did with Neymar and Messi. So I don't think Mbappe is going anywhere. I just think it's a last 10 days of the transfer window is just
Getting clicks,
yeah, exactly.
I
I
mean,
don't know.
the,
So
the
many.
one thing I will
I was
say. Go
hmm.
ahead, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I said the one thing I will say is that the captaincy. I don't know if you saw the voting with
hmm
Marquinhos and Mbappe, and I think Marquinhos got like 38 votes to one for Mbappe for the captain of the next captain of PSG. So he's gonna be the captain. So
No way they did it like
They
that. Is
did
that
it
how they
like
did
that.
it?
They did it with the voting within the squad. Bro, that club keg is so weird, man. Everything is weird. So maybe, who knows? We know he's a diva, so that's something that was rumored to be
Maybe
in the clause he wanted.
that's that maybe that's what, breaks what the camel's back. Like, just he's like, okay, I'm not the captain, I'm leaving now.
He's not even
It could
appreciated
be
by the
it could
squad.
be nothing. Yeah, it could be nothing. And why would they, man? He, like, this summer he took him for a freaking ride,
I want
like
to
he
leave.
wasn't
I want to
here.
stay. Exactly.
Exactly. I wouldn't want that person leading me. Marquinhos has been there for what, over 5 years now. He's their best center back.
Yep.
He's been as consistent as anybody on that team. He deserves it. And and the team thinks so too. So Mbappe is probably a little salty, but I don't think he's leaving anytime soon. They're stuck together. We'll
Yeah,
be
we'll
doing
see
this
what
for the
happens.
next
Thank
freaking.
God after August 31st we can rest. And either it'll be done
Yeah.
or it won't be
I
done.
I
I'm sick
cannot
of it.
wait.
I'm sick of this guy, honestly. Sick of every third post on Twitter is Mbappe this, but today Mbappe said this, he did this, he ate this for lunch. I'm sick of it. So
I've
few
I
more
finally
days.
I've I finally cleansed like my timeline of Mbappe news, and then I saw that PSG community thing, and I was like, oh my god, please.
So sick of
That's
it, man.
Yeah. I'm done.
But I'm gonna shuffle around what we're gonna talk about because I'm low key itching. First of
Yeah.
all, big credit to us. Last week,
Yeah.
the first thing we said was United lose and they don't score, and they
Yeah.
lost and they didn't score. So
Absolutely.
we have to talk about this first.
Yeah.
Manchester United, and specifically one guy, and that's the coach.
Yeah.
Well, I know
What
what
did
I'm
you
gonna
what did
say.
what no, you go
You
ahead
want me to
first.
go
Yeah,
first?
take the floor.
Okay,
Yeah.
Erik Ten Haag, and this is I've thought this for a while. I'm not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
Really, aside from that purple patch last season with Marcus Rashford, where he was scoring every week or even twice every week, and they were
Yeah.
beating. I think they won 8 or 9 in a row. They beat Barcelona. They beat Man City. They
Yeah.
were playing very, very well to their credit, and most of that was on the shoulders of Marcus Rashford. Out of that spell of games, really,
Yeah.
what has he done to set him apart from Ole? And now we have to start putting big question marks on his recruitment because it's not like this guy hasn't been given a crazy amount of money to spend in the market and didn't inherit
Absolutely.
a squad that got. If we're going to go off the Cristiano joined a team that finished second and did XYZ, okay, Ten Hag inherited a team that finished second 2 years before he came with a lot of the same pieces
Team, yeah.
in place. So I think that really the Carabao Cup last season they won, the League Cup,
Yeah.
is just a big distraction. Just because he gets the League Cup does not really look at the style of football that they're playing. They don't play good football.
Mm-hmm.
The team is inconsistent, and I'm so sick of the excuses every week. Why? And we talked about this on Twitter.
Yeah.
Why is Marcus Rashford getting a pass for playing striker every week? Oh, XYZ, I would be upset if I didn't play in this position. Manchester United played Paul Pogba as a DM for 6 years. I never heard one person say why are they playing Paul Pogba as a DM. And I
Yeah.
think that, well, this is what we disagreed on. I don't want to get into a big tangent.
Eh,
Paul
Yeah.
Pogba for me is arguably, we can say arguably, the most creative midfielder of his generation. I think in terms of his ability as just his he's a Swiss Army knife in terms of the type of playmaking he can do. On the level, I think peak for peak in terms of talent with Kevin De Bruyne. I don't think that's crazy. Obviously, production is a whole other stratosphere. But we really
Yeah.
see it when he goes to France and he has the ability to kind of free roam and play passes. I never saw one excuse for Paul Pogba. We only see excuses for Marcus Rashford. And
Mm-hmm.
the excuses I'm seeing for Ten Hag are crazy. He's not spending enough money. He spent 400 million in 2 windows.
Yeah.
What is that? So I'm curious. I think that nothing has improved since the time of Ole, but I want to see what you think.
Um, I'll get to the Pogba thing in 1 second, but
Yeah, that's a whole other discussion.
the with Ten Hag, I think the most glaring thing for me is the players he's brought in. Um, with Anthony, and
Man,
Anthony. Oh my goodness, I've never seen like a 80 million pound player look as like he look like he does not belong.
He does
Obviously, he brings other
nothing.
stuff. He brings other stuff to the table, but what he's supposed to do in that position for what I think Ten Hag is trying to do is I don't think Anthony can do it. He cannot dribble past anybody. At least he does not look threatening in any way other than when he's tracking back. Like maybe that's his only good thing he brings to the football pitch. Obviously Casemiro,
Very
I
poor. That's
think
true.
he I think and I don't think Casemiro is finished or anything like that. I think in terms of like the setup and stuff like that, is not helping him at all. With and then today they announced Mount will be out for 4 to 6 weeks, and he's only played 2 games, and he looked awful. So
Okay.
maybe this layoff is probably better for the team because it brings them back to at least what they had last year. And then the other thing is like the inconsistency in terms of him moving players around. I think like when you're moving, like Rashford last year looked, I don't know, like a top 10 player in the world for like 3 months. And obviously it's a contract year. He has to do that, and he got what he wanted. But he did that predominantly playing on the left,
That's
you
true.
should not be accommodating anybody else over your best player. And then he moves around Bruno. Bruno is I don't really rate Bruno as a player, but I know he produces, he gets his goals and assists throughout the season. But Ten Hag, I like him as a coach, but these last a full year now, and then going into this season, they lost every game in the preseason except for Arsenal. And I don't know what that says about them, but they obviously geared up for that game. But overall, it just looks more of the same, like exactly. They started pretty awful last year, and now they started pretty badly this year again. And obviously their striker is injured. And what's it called?
Rasmus
Onana played
Højlund.
really
Yeah.
well. Onana's incredible. He played so
Good
well.
signing. That's
Good
fair.
signing. That was the only good thing
And
about
not
that
cheap
game.
either. 70 million, I believe.
Yeah, no, Ten Hag has gotten all the money in the world. But I think he just needs to change. I don't know what he needs to change, but it's whatever he's doing right now, it's not working.
I mean, the thing
Um,
is, Ten Hag, like, this is what people say. When people get under pressure, they tend to go back to learned or what they know. Let's look
yeah,
at the players that he brought in, even from day one. Lissandro Martinez, who's someone he worked with. Onana, respect, he's a good player and he's been playing well. Also, someone he's worked with.
yep,
Christian Eriksen, who has a lot of exposure with the Dutch league, and countless
absolutely.
other players. There is no creativity in recruitment for Manchester United, and even before the season started, we looked at some of the signings and we just put a kind of big question mark. It doesn't make any sense. Mason Mount in a midfield with Casemiro and Bruno is not a seamless fit at all. I would have liked them
Yeah.
to at least try to see them go for someone like they were never in the running for Moises Caicedo. They never inquired about Romeo Lavia. Why not
Hmm.
go for someone like James Ward-Prowse for West Ham, who's a dead ball specialist and who can kind of play in that center mid role? There was
Yeah.
never. It just the recruitment doesn't really make that much sense, from a Ten Hag perspective. And the first thing, or one of the first things he did at United, one of the first things I disagree with, let's say, was
Hmm.
was he got there and he got rid of Ragnick immediately, who was in that consultant role. He was like, this guy does not match with what I'm doing. Get out. Who
Yeah.
Ragnick, to be fair to his credit, while he's not a good coach, is a
He's an elite
fantastic
recruiter.
recruiter.
Yeah.
Maybe the best in the world,
Hmm.
or up there. I'll say maybe top five.
Hmm.
They never even listened to his ideas. And last season, I think they got away with a lot. They had that huge purple patch. They barely squeaked top four. Remember at the end of the season, Liverpool, for a while people thought they were horrible to end the season.
Yeah.
They had like 9 good games and they won a League Cup. That doesn't really do anything for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with everything you said. But I think like last year they went through these spells. I remember I think they lost the first 2 games of the season, and then they beat Liverpool
That's true.
to kickstart their season. And then it was just up and down, up and down, up and down. As a new coach, you expect that because like because he Ten Hag made such a big deal about like Ronaldo, right? He made
Yep.
that was his like he catapulted himself as like the guy in this club.
In the room,
You
yeah.
like basically getting rid of Ronaldo, and that got rid of like guaranteed goals and all that stuff. But for a little bit, you were like, okay, we see it. Okay, you have to,
And then he
you
brings
have
in
to set an example.
Weghorst.
Exactly. You bring in somebody. Weghorst scored 0 goals for them.
Yep.
He did absolutely like he did nothing for them basically, other than be 6'8" and just stand in the middle of the pitch. That's it. Um, but it all comes back to their best player. I think Rashford, at least these first 2 games and the preseason, has not looked the same. He didn't even I didn't against he didn't he against Tottenham they he got hooked pretty much. He wasn't playing the whole game. So I don't do you see how do you think this their season's gonna go?
I
Because
mean, I said that they would
last year we
finish
jumped
fifth.
on them. Yeah, last year we jumped on them pretty hard, and then they just limped to the finish line at 4th place.
Hmm.
But this season, I don't think
I
I
don't
don't think
see. I
they're
think
getting there.
every team got better.
Yeah,
And even look at the right now, they should have 1 point. If it wasn't for the disastrous officiating in the game against Wolves, a team that
yeah,
Brighton went and beat 4-1, by the way. They
smacked
slapped
them.
them
Yeah,
this weekend.
yeah,
So, and they barely beat them 1-0, and it was a late goal by Varane. So, I don't know. I think that they finished outside the top four, and if it wasn't for that patch last season, they finished top four. But I think the outside top four as well. But I think the big
yeah,
question marks with Ten Hag is the recruitment is horrible. He's been given a ton of money, and he hasn't brought in anyone that's like wow, you know. Casemiro and Onana, to be fair, Onana I will give, who by the
have
way
worked out.
started
Yeah,
for a team that went to the Champions League final. It's not like he came out of nowhere. And Casemiro
yeah,
was arguably the best defensive midfielder in the world where he brought him. He does not he doesn't bring the best out of any of his players. That's the sign of a good coach. His system doesn't match with what he has. Sure, we can say give more patience, but there's no creativity in recruitment. Why wasn't Manchester
no,
United
and the fact that he's only shopping in the Netherlands, like
he
like his
only goes for
backyard.
players he
Yeah,
knows exactly. So
yeah,
there is no creativity in recruitment. And really look at Manchester United squad. They had $1 billion squad with
yeah.
400 million in signings. They have huge question marks at striker. They have
Hmm.
question marks in midfield and the balance of the midfield. I still think they need another midfielder. Both
Hmm.
their fullbacks are suspect. Depth at center back is questionable. Production on the right wing. That's five weaknesses in an 11-man squad, and you spent
Yeah,
400 million in 2 windows. That is unacceptable for a top team like Manchester United, who can really go and attract any player.
yeah,
So
and he does not have a starting 11 at like I don't think he knows who's week in week out who's starting for him at right
that's
back.
a huge
I don't think
problem.
he doesn't know what position Rashford will be playing going into week to week. Obviously, is it Hoyland Rasmus
Rasmus
Hoyland
Højlund,
is
19-year-old. You're gonna count on him to
not
get the goals every week.
exactly who himself scored only 11 goals like in Atlanta.
Hmm.
So like I don't think he's gonna I think he'll do one thing, which is put freaking Rashford at his right position, right? That's the one thing Hoyland brings to the table. He'll play striker, and Rashford can play his favorite
Left
left
wing,
wing.
yes.
Yeah. But other than that, you still have Sancho, you still have Anthony. You Sancho, to me, at least played well in the preseason. He was experimenting with him. He was playing him in different
At false
positions
nine the whole
at false
preseason, and
nine.
now he
Yeah.
throws him right
And
wing
then
this
he
season.
comes
This
and
the
now he's a sub and he's playing
yeah.
right wing. Exactly. And I feel like that's what 2-3 managers now that have tried Sancho at right wing, and it has not worked. Ole at least tried to like move him around, but Sancho might be a false nine. I don't or move him
Yeah,
to
I
the
don't
middle of the
know.
field, but he's not a right winger in at least in the Premier League
How
or at least in
many
this system.
how many of United's players do you look at and you say has to start or has to be in the future plans? Because for me, let's like go down the line. I think
Yeah,
Onana is one of those.
yeah,
For sure. Great signing so far, lives up to the hype, although he was expensive, like we said.
yeah,
Varane, I think, is someone that you can count on in a top team still.
Mm-hmm.
Martinez question marks. I wouldn't put him there.
Yeah.
Casemiro, I think, in the right system as a pure DM, not as this playmaking role, you can count on him. Bruno Fernandes and and Marcus Rashford on the left. That's fine. I'll give it to you. Five
Yeah.
players in a full team, and you've spent how much money over the last X amount of windows on so many failed transfers. It's crazy.
They get bullied when they're buying players because they never pay. They always overpay. Um, with Mount, I think they said
65 million
yeah
pounds.
they said we're walking away at 55, and they paid 65. They were Hoyland was like they paid what 70 for
70
him,
million euros, yeah.
70 million for him. Onana 70. Freaking Anthony last year at the beginning of the summer was like 45, 50. They ended up paying 85 for him.
I think
So like
100.
close to that
100,
exactly. So
100, yeah.
they are, and then they can't get rid of players. There's a lot of players that are what's his name? Maguire will not leave. Like
I mean, think of what Mourinho said. When United players leave, go watch where they play, how
yeah,
they play, if they play. And
if they
that hasn't
exactly.
and that hasn't changed in look at Fred. For he's in I think he's in the Turkish league.
Yeah.
And I think he left on a free. And people are
Yeah.
gonna say, oh, when Ten Hag came, he lost a bunch of players. He lost Matic. He lost Juan Mata. There's no excuses. This is Manchester
Yeah.
United. You have 400 mil. You have a 400 million pound war chest in two windows. How can you not go attract top top talent in each position? There's no creativity. If like let's say even looking at Ajax, why was
Yeah.
Manchester United never in the running for Yuri and Timber? Why was
Yeah.
I think that would have been a great player. They were last summer when Van Gaal said he couldn't leave, but just there's no creativity is what I'm getting at, and I think Ten Hag gets a pass from United fans because he's this like ruthless coach who he's very everyone has to be under me XYZ, but I don't know, I think it's weird.
Yeah. I that whole Ronaldo situation has maybe bought him a lot more time than he needs. I don't think obviously it's 2 games into the season. I don't think it's Ten Hag out
It's not
now,
panic season
but
yet, no.
yeah, but like there's glaring red flags. Obviously Man United loves to panic buy, and I think they'll bring somebody in.
They probably will.
I think they need a who's the Florentina midfielder, Amrabat or something like that. I
Yeah,
think.
Sofiane
Yeah,
Amrabat. Yes, yes.
yeah. So I think they'll bring him in. I think that will help. But at the end of the day, it's I don't know.
I feel like
Like
sometimes
there's
they bring
no.
in players without a plan. They just look nice on a team sheet, and there's no. Bruno Fernandes is not a midfielder to sit in a three-man midfield. You need to go back to playing a 4-2-3-1. Go get another midfielder who can play in a double pivot. Why didn't they go
Yeah,
for Amadou Onana, for example, from Everton, just to throw out names? Very big,
yeah,
physical midfielder who can kind of move in transitions, and you can sit Casemiro next to him and then play like a three-man midfield like this. And they still how are you looking at Martial on the bench for goals in 2023? This is like is
no,
insane.
like there's like glaring like things that they need to like. Why the thing I hate the most about Man United is they have the money, right? They have the like the pedigree of being a big club. Obviously, the facility. No, I'm just kidding. But the like they're never in for the difference makers in the Prem. Declan Rice was there. Caicedo was there. Those are players that you can play next to Casemiro. Casemiro looked lost. There was so much space, man. Basuma and Sarr were just walking past him every freaking time, and they couldn't. There was no Mount and Fernandez were nowhere to be found for like long periods of times during that game, and it ended up costing them. So they're making world-class players. At least Casemiro, he played that way last year, look like shit because of
Credit
who
the
they're bringing
Spurs,
in.
by the way, who were great. They were fantastic to
They were, yeah,
watch,
yeah,
and I really like what they're doing in terms of both the way they're buying and the way they're playing. Kind of the resurgence of Basuma was good to see.
yeah,
Udogi was really really good. They have a good team. I like Van de Ven from Wolfsburg.
Hmm.
Good business. They can kind of play in that four back now with Romero. That midfield
Yeah,
is doing
they're
well.
this no expectations. Tottenham is moving me. They're playing so well.
They
They're
are playing
playing
very good football.
and what I like most about them, like the first half, United missed like clear cut chances within like the first 30 minutes. But obviously, like I think their coach came out and said they were nervous. They were because they're playing against Man United and they've never beaten Man United at this new stadium that they have. So that was the first win there. But they're a young team and they stuck to the way they play. You can clearly see like a pattern in play. They're
A lot of energy too.
but and a lot of energy, a lot of youngsters. Basuma last year they bought him and was just you know put in a locker for the whole season.
Yeah.
Antonio Conte would not play him at all, no matter what. But I think Richarlison is obviously questionable, but everyone else, Son played well. Romero played well. Their
James
midfield was
Madison was very
incredible.
good.
James Madison was incredible.
Fantastic player.
That's a sneaky good signing. Um, but it's Man United, so like I think the expectations. I think a lot. I don't think it was just us. From what we saw in the preseason, I think a lot of people knew Man United would get like beat, but I didn't think it would be one that easy and two like that convincing. Like they looked like they did not belong on that field.
The problem with United isn't even the players, and the problem is the effort a lot of the time. They
Yeah,
just look like they don't want it so often. And I
yeah.
can't even imagine as a fan of them how frustrating it must be to watch. Every season it feels like we're talking about the same stuff. They just don't want it.
Yeah, Luke Shaw. I don't think I've ever seen him put in a tackle or anything like that. He's just watching players cross the ball in front of him. But is and then United fans will come defend him, saying, "Oh, he's the best left back in the world." Da da da. All this bullshit. But
Exactly, it's crazy.
they're getting cooked. They're getting cooked, man. It's. But Lissandro Martinez. He had a goal and assist himself. So good for that guy.
Well, we'll see. I'm curious. We can check on who do they play this week?
I'm not
United
sure.
play. I think it's Nottingham Forest at home. It is
Yeah,
Forest at home. So big red flags are going to be going up if they cannot handle their business.
yeah, at home too. So I don't.
Yeah, we'll
We'll
see.
see. I hope. I just want to see. I just want to see Rasmus Hoyland starting playing. Like I'm very intrigued by him.
19
I don't
years
know.
old, man. He's gonna have ups and
Great,
downs.
great, great value Holland. I can't wait to see. We'll see.
We'll see. But we'll go to what we were gonna talk about before that, which is Real Madrid.
Yeah,
Another prediction I had on the weekend last week that was right. I said Bellingham would score. Not only
yeah,
did he score, but he scored twice.
yeah.
Fantastic showing from Madrid. It's good. Two games, two wins, both on the road, in
Hmm.
places that are not easy to play in San Mamés and then at Almeria. So, how about we'll
Yeah,
start with
it's.
you for this one? What did you think about Real Madrid this weekend?
I saw I saw a report saying Ancelotti will try playing Jude as a number 9, So
Mm-hmm.
I really like this like experimental phase of the season that like Real Madrid is in right now. Um Obviously going into the season there's one big question mark, which is goals and striker. And then their Galactico signing, Jude Bellingham, has answered the call, playing in a completely different way than he has played like his entire career. And then you said, away games, like that's really hard to do, just as his first two games and two small teams, but two hard stadiums to play in. But I don't know. It's. I'm surprised. I think obviously Jude is a very talented footballer, but like I didn't think it would lead to this end product. I think you guys won what 4-1,
One.
3-1. Vinicius
Yeah.
scored, got on the board. It's good
Yeah.
to see.
Bellingham two
But
goals and an assist.
assist, yeah, he's answered the call. I really hope he doesn't play number 9, but like I want to see it.
They're playing
He's
him in
so
this really
talented.
nice like free roam like role where basically before the season they were like Bellingham's best Ancelotti's logic is that Bellingham's best abilities are in the attacking phase of the game. So let's
Yeah.
kind of void him of those defensive responsibilities. Like he can go do them, but
Yeah.
let's really
And
his
he has
job,
done
and
that.
he
And he
has.
has the yeah.
And Chouameni has been fantastic this season too. Flowers to him. He hasn't been. He's been getting talked about just a little
Yeah,
bit.
like all summer is like you can get too many, a lot of clubs were like, knocking on the door a little bit, but I'm like, why after one season Real Madrid would think of moving him? But I don't I he's incredible, man. I like I don't know. I don't know what more I can say about like just how talented and young this midfield is.
It
But
is
that's
crazy.
yeah.
I just wish that they had Kane. I'm so
Yeah,
upset
man.
that they didn't have, because if you play this diamond system with Kane and Vinny, and Kane, well, this is kind of
Kane, who's an incredible you could play off him so easily.
playmaking.
He's
So
just as good as
his first assist for Bayern this weekend. It's kind of bleeding into the Bayern talk, but
yeah,
he had that little flicked goal in transition to Sane, and then the second goal he finds a space, he sprints into it, one touch, bang, near post. So
yep.
that's the
All that he
one.
could have been doing with you guys. With
100%. He's a
same
perfect
similar
transition
profiles
striker.
as well.
So, but it's good to see
Hmm.
Bellingham. He's a fantastic player. I will say, I thought his while this one was talked about more, I thought he was better last week. To be honest,
Yeah.
even though he didn't have even though he didn't have two goals, but two
Hmm.
games, two fantastic performances. And the thing that's really good to see with Bellingham is the maturity at such a young age. We saw
Yeah.
that report earlier in the week from the German newspapers saying that he's
Yeah.
they were literally saying he's a locker room cancer, and Madrid media came out very quickly and they said he's very respected in the dressing room. And a clip that stood out to me was that Vinny was frustrated with the officials, and he walked up to Vinny and he was like, use your head. That's not really something that you see from a 19-year-old, 20-year-old player. So
Yeah, and he's done that in all phases of his career, So
yep,
he's done that at Dortmund. He's done that
he's
for the England
captain there.
national
Yeah,
team. I remember when Harry Kane missed that penalty, Jude was the first person to go up to him and tell him like, stay locked in. But those like from Germany, like the stuff that came out randomly early in the week just came out of nowhere. It
it
was
was very
just
surprising. Yeah,
they saw him have a good game, and it was just like, okay, let's slam him but I that's just nonsense to me. I
yeah.
don't think Dortmund are probably beating themselves because they didn't squeeze another 20 million out of you
He
guys.
probably could have gotten another 100 the way players are. I
Yeah,
mean,
he's
he
playing
was cheaper than
exactly.
Declan Rice, and cheaper than the guy we're gonna talk about next. Sorry, I gotta get that little jab in there.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
he was cheaper than the guy who made his debut on the weekend, and that's
yeah,
Moises Caicedo.
yeah,
In another Chelsea loss, a
yeah.
crazy stat I saw: Enzo Fernandez has been involved in, I think, one league win since joining.
I actually the funny thing is I think so, I saw that same and then like Community Notes corrected it
It's
and
either
said
one or three.
yeah, one or like someone said he's won one game in like 30 something games, and it was corrected to 3 games in 30
But
something
one
games. Like,
against a team still in
yeah,
the
like,
Prem.
yeah,
So
exactly.
three
Um,
wins since
yeah,
January 2000 in August. They've won
yeah,
3 league games.
it's,
That is
it's,
insane.
and then over the course of what, like 3 managers in that period, 4, if you count up until the beginning of the last year. So Moises Kaiser obviously like he did not look like good, but he just looked like somebody who's not conditioned, who hasn't done anything but sit in a hotel for the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks, waiting for his transfer, maybe all summer. But I think Chelsea just have to be patient. They're young. You just have to preach. I think that's how I'll approach this season for them, because I think they have the players. I just think it needs to click. But
Yeah,
patience.
give
But
them
Moises
time.
Caicedo did not look good. I think Enzo missed a penalty as well.
And so Miss
Um,
Chukwemeka was really good. That goal was
yeah,
crazy.
yeah, that was a great
Uh,
finish.
the they just got
And
outplayed.
Sterling played well. I think they what's his name? Mudrik is gonna be out for a couple of games. So and he wasn't starting, but I think the thing I don't like, I think they just need to go just go young. Start every young person. Just lose with them,
They
win
have
with
so
them.
many.
Just speed up the process because you're only playing one game every week, So, but I think Moises Caicedo, I think I'll excuse him. But I love the slander. But it's his first minutes of the season and with no preseason. But it's crazy to think he cost 115 million
I know.
euros. It's crazy.
This week is home to Luton, so a lot of question marks on that game. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. We'll see. I think like what do you like? What do they do? I saw Lukaku was like training with the under 21s or something like
Yeah,
that.
they're trying to get rid of him.
Trying to get rid of him.
I forgot he existed, to be honest. So.
Exactly. I was like, where is Lukaku? But they got him. They got Pochettino. Every coach has had him in a padded cell the last year, but I don't free Lukaku.
but we'll see, man. I before the season I said that they were one of the teams I rate the recruitment on paper. They look really good, and maybe now we'll see a 3-man midfield: Lavia, Caicedo, Fernandez, and we'll see where that goes. But I don't know. I think they need time. To be fair to them, but West Ham played them off the field. They were so much better, and credit to West Ham. They were very, very good.
And they made two signings. I think they signed Mavropanos, who used to play for Arsenal.
Yep.
And then they signed somebody else. I think yesterday.
Kudus is almost done.
Kudus, yeah, today is almost done. Yeah, so
which is a crazy signing.
Better. Yeah,
and Antonio has been really good. Ben Rahma has been really good, and they get that. I mean, I still don't know how the hell they were able to get Paqueta. It always baffled me on West Ham of all teams.
What were those reports that came? Was it gambling, and then now they're just gone? Was that just to keep City away?
They're still there. They're crazy. Those are crazy. There was one where it was like, well, he was betting, or his friends were betting on yellow cards. And one of the yellow cards is like the most shameless yellow card I've ever seen. It's like 93rd minute, and he clatters him for no reason. And they're winning by like 2 goals. So I want to see where that goes. Because
gambling is such a problem in the Premier League. It's
even Ivan Toney, though.
Ivan Toney, I think he came out and admitted
betting. He did, but he was like, I was betting that I would score. Like, not that I would get yellow cards, but obviously you cannot do any of these things. They alter the game. So.
I remember 2 years ago, in the middle of the season, Shaka took a yellow card in the middle of just a game, and he was going to be out the next game. And there was like some accusations that came out that it was because like he bet on the game and stuff like that. And that was like a big thing for like 3 weeks. And it ended up being nothing, but it's gambling is such a problem in in England. It's crazy.
It is.
And you see West Ham's like sponsored by, I think, Betway. So it's like all the shirts are like sponsored by like gambling websites and stuff like that. So
Prem doesn't care about that.
The irony.
They don't care about that. But yeah, so we'll see with Chelsea. Let's segue into your club, Arsenal. That was scary. It's very scary at times. I will say I was very impressed. I think the good teams win. Great teams win when they're not playing well. And I think that Arsenal, by their standards, have had 2 very poor games, but they have 6 points.
Absolutely.
So
I don't know. Like, I think a big issue that game was like refereeing was such a problem.
Yeah, the red card was very questionable.
Yeah, Tomiyasu's red card or second yellow was I don't think that was anything because it was just a common foul. And then somebody I think Ayu did the same thing and he was like let go and wasn't given a red. But I don't know. I think the real story is like just how well Declan Rice played. He was unbelievable. I finally got the full Declan Rice experience and it was, oh my goodness, he's special. But I don't know what Arteta is doing right now because like we're not really playing our full team because Gabriel hasn't started. Zinchenko is just working his way into fitness. He played a few minutes at the end of last game. And then Partey starting at right back. Obviously, Urian Timber is injured and probably will be for
role,
yeah. So I think I think we gotta just nip this whole. I think I see it like because we've been playing really well at the starts of seasons and then just falling off a cliff at the end. So I get it in terms of like just working our way slowly into being like a complete team, but it's a close call every game. Like I don't want to win 2-1, 1-0 every week. Like just we can do it. Like we can rip these teams to shreds, but it's just like the team that's out there is just not capable. I don't think if Zinchenko is healthy, I think it makes because our left-handed side is just so nothing's happening on that side with Kai Havertz and Martinelli with who's playing. I think we started Tomiyasu. He's not very like progressive at all. He's a very good player, but he's not up to the standards of like Zinchenko with the passes and stuff like that. But we'll see. There's a good win. Crystal Palace away is always a tough game. I think last year we started there. We beat them 2-0, and one of them was an own goal. But they're always a tough team.
It is, and it's their first home
yeah.
game, so
yeah, exactly. So I don't know. As long as we're keeping up with City, that's who we're looking up to.
yeah.
So
I mean,
they won.
Arsenal two. I mean, like I said, bro, 2 games, 2 wins, and I don't think they've been at their best once yet. So
Yeah.
curious to see when it really starts to click. Maybe that's when Gabriel Jesus comes back. But very, very nice.
I think there's only 3 teams now that have won both games, which is Brighton, Arsenal, and Man City.
That is true. Brighton have looked so good. I mean,
Yeah,
sure,
man.
it's against Wolves and against Luton, but 8 goals scored, 2 goals
Yeah.
against. Mitoma had the crazy goal on the weekend. Talk
He's
about a team
unbelievable.
that plays great football. We went talking about United and how they haven't been playing good football. De Zerbi
I wonder
crazy
who's gonna take De Zerbi. Yeah,
They have
someone's gonna come knocking.
They have the best vertical pressing that I've seen and playing out of space, like especially from a mid-table team. I'm very curious to see
Yeah.
how they do in Europe this year. Like very, very interested to see if they can balance it and how well they perform because man, they are coached so well. The pace of play, the way they're able to invite pressure so that they beat you on the counterattack, relentless, and their recruitment like is 10 out of 10. They lose one guy, they bring in 3. They just brought they just got another player from Uruguay, someone who I know from watching Fabrizio
I
Diaz.
think he's a defensive midfielder.
Defensive
he's
midfielder
really...
from Uruguay, 19 years old. How many players do they have like that? Mitoma.
I think I was kind of sad that the Mohamed Kudus thing fell through.
That's a
perfect
player for them, yeah.
For them, yeah, he's very versatile. I think he's going to West Ham now.
He is.
But yeah, they play well. I think after Man City, Arsenal and them are like Arsenal haven't been playing that well, but they play such great football. It's so fun to watch.
Yeah,
Mitoma is amazing, man.
I can't wait to see them against the
and then the other thing is just like these crazy sales, you know? They've lost their coach. They've lost 5-6 players with like high prices to big teams in the Premier League, and there has been no drop off. They brought in a good coach. They've brought in better players.
Yeah. They get better. They sell these players. They get better. And who knows? They have a crazy war chest now. Maybe they have hundreds of millions at their disposal. So, I mean, they're great.
They might need to make a decision on what kind of club they want to be, but because they're so talented. At least they have a coach that can coach. You know, you might
2 weeks from now they play Newcastle, so that's the game to circle. It's gonna be a very, very good game, and then they play at United the week after. Mm-hmm. So those 2 games,
they're gonna get their 4-0. It's okay. United, hopefully United doesn't get it together by then.
Yeah, no, those are gonna be good games.
Last year was hilarious. Yeah,
I know that was their opening game. Yeah.
I saw a report that Pep is going to be missing the next 2 games. Is that true?
That's it. Next couple games, yeah, he is missing. So
I saw that. And I didn't want to believe it, but you know, I think they're not playing really competitive teams. But.
Sheffield and Fulham, so I think they should be good. But I mean, Man City have been good as always. It was really good to watch Newcastle. They really sat in that game and played well.
Yeah, man. I was so sad that they didn't get anything.
And I don't
Newcastle,
know.
oh
I think they're gonna be higher than that.
yeah, they're gonna be
Maybe
much
that'll
higher.
be where they'll be. We'll see when the Champions League starts. Obviously, Europe hasn't started yet, so teams
I yeah,
still have time.
I think it's fair because I think that's what you base your decision on,
Mhm.
at least your ranking of them. Because playing in the Champions League, I don't think they have a deep squad
They
yet,
just
but they
got Lewis
played.
Hall, which is good for them.
Yeah,
Very-
from Chelsea. But they played so well against Man City, and it was such a like a good goal by Alvarez, like just something like that you don't see very much, but they played really well. I think they deserved the point, but Man
They
City's a
play really,
machine,
really well. They're very, very compact. So
the person that freaking what's his name? He's from Paraguay. Their right winger. Uh,
Almiron.
yeah, Almiron. He was awful that game. Oh my goodness! But other than that, everyone else played so well.
Their
There,
recruitment has been
I
very, very underrated. So and this
and
season,
Isak didn't
Isak,
play that well, but obviously Diaz and Gavardio is incredible, man. He's a beast.
he is
He
very,
was
very
just sitting
good.
up at the on the left handed like on the left wing, like just like it was not like they had no worries at all in the back. It
Guardiola's a
was
crazy player.
He's
But
so talented.
let's segue a
But
little bit into Serie A. We
yeah,
didn't really talk about this league that much. We didn't haven't talked about them at all this season. Uh, is there a team that you've really got your eyes on this season in terms of winning the league? We saw Inter, AC, and Juve all kind of hit the ground running this weekend,
yeah.
and Napoli too. But who do you think takes the league this season?
Serie A has been probably the most unpredictable league, at least for the last 2-3 years, because they've had a different winner every season. Um, I think I think I think AC Milan. Obviously they got rid of like one of their best players, but I think they got better. They brought in I think Pulisic, they brought in a few others, but last year I said I said Roma would win because I was just being hopeful. But I think AC Milan repeats. I think it's because what Juve won 11 in a row,
Juve
12
and
in
then
a row or
AC and
something
then
like that.
Napoli and then back to AC.
No, it
Napoli
was
last season,
Inter,
Inter and then
AC, and then
AC
Napoli.
and then Napoli. Yep.
Yep.
And that league is
So
as
yeah.
much as I want Roma
Oh
to
shit.
win
Oh
it
yeah. And Napoli did win this year.
last
My
season.
bad. I
They
said
dominated.
yeah.
As much as I want Roma to do well, I still think that they're not deep enough.
Yeah.
Even though they did make good signings this summer with Renato Sanchez and Awar and Evan and Dika, but I think Inter take it. I think they replaced Onana well with Jan Sommer. I think that's really really good in the short term more so than the long term. And
Yeah.
bringing in
You think you
Turam,
think you think you think Inter will activate that 80 million buy option on Lukaku?
absolutely not. They got Turam for like 9 million, which is great
Yeah,
business.
yeah. No,
So
they have good value. I like Serie A, like in terms of like recruitment. They always like because like AC Milan went on a big shopping spree and they got a lot of players from like Chelsea, but
Ruben Loftus-Cheek
they
and
always yeah they always make. I was very like because remember like when Tonali was sold, it was just so depressing. But they put that money to use.
yep, we'll see. That's a very very good league. Probably the
Who do you think
closest.
will win? You said
Inter.
Inter.
Even though
Yeah,
losing
I think
Skriniar
AC Milan. I think
hurts,
AC Milan.
but they replaced Lukaku with Turam. They replaced Onana with Summer, and part of the thing that hurt, obviously Napoli ran away with the league, but the reason that they weren't able to do as well in the league last year as usual is because they went so deep in the
Yeah,
Champions League, as did
yeah,
AC. To be fair to them, so I mean
yeah.
the
And
Italian
AC
teams were
AC.
fantastic last season. Roma European final, Fiorentina Europa Conference League final, three Italian teams in the semis, or two Italian teams in the semis, three in the quarters. So
And I think they had three in the finals as well, and they lost. I think they lost
yeah,
all three,
all three.
but AC also. I think last year they were able to get Rafael Leao to extend, which is a big win. But I don't know. I don't really watch Serie A too much, but I'm rooting for Mourinho. That's my guy.
I love Roma, but we'll see. I
And
think we're
Dybala.
still yes. Surprised no one picked up that 20 million buy option
Yeah,
that
but
he's been
I
rumored to
don't think
have.
he would have. I don't think he would have went anywhere.
He loves it there
They love
still.
him so much. They love him so
He's
much.
literally crazy. But we'll do what we always do, which is we'll throw 5 minutes on the clock, and we'll do 3-5-2. Let's start with your first one.
Um, let's see. I was looking into like possible like coach sackings. But I was like, it's probably
Too
too early
early.
to like turn too early to throw Ten Hag under there. But I'm just gonna stay home and be like, I think Arsenal come finally. I think we see some goals. I think we need. I think we play Fulham this week. I think Friday. We need. I think Zinchenko starts for the first time this season. We go back to our back four, regular back four with Ben White at right back, Partey, Rice, Odegaard at midfield. I don't think we should be starting. And Nketiah played well, but he missed
Two big
like just
chances.
two big chances. I think Trossard he plays so well with
Saliba
our
was
with Odegaard and
crazy.
Saliba.
Oof.
Yeah, bro. Oh, Saliba's
That tackle
oh
he
my
had
god.
on Ayu. Oh my lord. That was a
Yeah,
crazy recovery.
Saliba's incredible, man. Oh my goodness. I have no words. But I think we just go back to the basics now. I think it's time to. I think it's over with this whole trying out things. I think that's more of like whenever we play the Carabao Cup or FA Cups. I think that's what it should be put on the back burner for. So I think Fulham. I think we completely dominate. Look like what we're supposed to look like, which is hopeful league champions.
Okay. I say United. I'm gonna stand firm and say that they
Yeah.
don't finish top four this season. And
Mm-hmm.
top six is starting to become questionable for me if they get top six. I will say I will stay for now, kind of hesitant on that. I don't want to make it definitive, but I
Yeah.
think if I had to bet, I would say 99% they don't get top four. I just don't see it.
What do you think they can do in the last 10 days of the window for that to change?
Man, they need like 4 or 5 players, dude. They are still so far. I mean, not from top
Yeah.
four, but I don't know, dude. You cannot rely on a 19-year-old kid to get you goals. and
Yeah.
and say you're gonna be in the top four. This is you are not Brighton.
Yeah.
Even Brighton have
No,
a proven veteran in Daniel Welbeck who can go get some goals for you. They are far. Their team doesn't make
absolutely.
any sense. They still need a fullback, a midfielder, and a
What do you think? What do you
just
think is the answer for that right wing position for them?
just
Because
pray one of them works. Just pray on the one week when you start one guy over the other that he works.
I'm
That's the
I'm
answer.
I'm so tired of seeing Anthony just shake his leg and
Anthony
then just not go
Sancho, who
anywhere.
knows, bro? Palestri one week, who knows?
I think they should try Wan Bissaka up there. I don't know.
Oh
I don't,
Lord, we'll
but
see.
yeah, I
Let's
don't.
see.
Man U is in for a long season.
Let's see
I
this
and I
week.
and I swear to you, I'm every week I'm gonna come in and I'm predict them to lose
Oh,
every week.
it's
Yeah.
one of the things we're gonna talk about every week. But what's your second one?
I saw something about them being bought by Sheikh Jassim or some the
Man
guy.
United.
I think for the summer, but
Okay.
I don't think any of that goes through. I think Man United and the Glazers are stuck together for the
No,
rest of
they
their
are. They
lives.
are. I don't think it
Yeah.
goes through either.
So I don't. I don't. I think Man United because I feel like United fans are like hopeful, that okay, a new regime is coming. I don't think they need. Please don't be hopeful. It's not
And
coming.
it
You're
won't
not
change
being
much. The
saved
problem
by
is
oil
recruitment.
money.
Man, the problem is they're not even. They spend enough money, bro. That's not the
Exactly.
real problem.
Yeah.
But
But they want to be throwing around 200 millions at players, but
absolutely.
that's
But
not happening. I think they're
what's your
stuck
second
together.
one?
Um, let's see. Who does Real Madrid play this week?
Real Madrid. I want to play. Say Celta Vigo. I want to say Celta Vigo. It is Celta Vigo away.
Okay, I think you guys lose.
Ooh.
Because I was texting you. We were texting for a little bit. I think it was right after the City game, It was 1-0, and I was like, how are you guys looking? You seem pretty confident. So I think the Jude stuff comes to an end. I don't think a
Ooh, I
goal is
like.
coming.
Very
I don't think a goal
interesting.
is coming this week. You guys are too reliant
Almost
on.
said Jude scores again, but I will keep it off this week. All right, my second one is Chelsea related. I think
Yeah.
Chelsea. A lot of people are saying they're going to struggle. I think they dominate this weekend. I think we see a big win. I'm putting my chips on the table on the young guns. Give me a 3-0 against Luton
Oh my goodness.
in prime
Oh
time
my
on
goodness.
Friday at the
Yeah, that's a big.
bridge.
That's a big game.
Big game. Give me 3-0. I don't think that, and I don't think they struggle. I think they come out, they guns blame. Mauricio Pochettino is gonna whip his guys into shape, and we see a big
Is
win.
is Caicedo playing in this
Who
3-0?
knows? Yes, with or without him, I think he plays, but I think they dominate.
Okay. I think City slip up. I think without Pep, that's my third. I
Wow.
think, yeah. I think Grealish is gonna look to the sideline and then not track back. He's not gonna he's not gonna be.
Against Sheffield, that's who they drop points against.
Yeah, I think they slip up both games. So I'll say the same thing
Wow.
next week.
Okay.
Yeah, bro. The
This
margin,
is
it's a tight season.
this is
So,
an
but
absolute
their defense looks. I don't. It's not. Oh, I forgot about Holland. But we'll stick to that.
and
I forgot. I
Alvarez
completely forgot about Holland.
and Bernardo Silva and
They play so well off each other, man. I finally participated in those
in
the
FPL.
FPL, and I picked all City players. No Arsenal players at all. So I have Holland, I have Foden, I have Gavardio, I have Diaz, I have
I
everybody.
know you're sitting, you're cooking.
Um, I win. I'm 2-0 right now. So they win, I win. They lose, I win. So I think they slip up this week.
We'll see. This is a disgusting thing to have, but I
Yeah.
think before the next time we meet, there will be an Mbappe bid. I think there's gonna
Oh
be
my
some big. I am
God.
so disgusted that I put this here, to be honest. But I just think it will happen. I think even if it's some garbage bid that instantly gets rejected, which I don't think he's leaving. Let me put that out there. I don't think he's leaving, so I don't get clowned at this time.
Can you
next
give me a
week.
club? Can you give me a club who's making that bid?
Real Madrid will make a bid. No. I'm not scared, and it will be. I think it'll be 180. That's my
Ooh.
predicted number, and I think it's gonna get shot down very quick. But I think when we come back next week, there will be some definitive. We'll be here 8:30, so like literally
Yeah.
right before the deadline. There will be definitive movements on Mbappe. So.
You think okay, let's say they do bid, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it gets rejected. Does that like lead to them bidding again for maybe
I don't know.
a more attractive
Who
offer?
knows?
Like,
That club is so sick. Both of them are disgusting. I hate them both.
no, but like the thing is, if Mbappe says yes, I think PSG will sell. But I don't think
Even
he's
for
gonna say
180.
yes. I even for 180, I don't
No
think they will.
shot, because
I
they
think
have to give
PSG
him
would take
50
180.
and
I
then
think they
give
would take
him
180.
his 50 million bonus.
Well, yeah, the date
That's
passed,
the problem.
right? The deadline passed. Yeah,
That
he's
the
staying.
problem is he's not, bro. He's not leaving, man. I'm telling
Yeah,
you, he's not
exactly.
leaving. But
What is it? Oh, how much is it? 50, right?
50, and he gets another 60 if he stays past August 31st.
Yeah. That's a come on. 110 million? Are you serious?
And then if he stays, then he goes gets another signing bonus from Real Madrid, which will probably be 100. So we'll see, man. But there will be big movements. That's really my thing, is that there will be big definitive movements. It's not going to be this garbage. PSG's waiting for Madrid. Madrid's waiting for PSG. Mbappe is trapped. His entourage XYZ. Blah blah blah. There will be movements for Mbappe this week. That's my prediction.
I still haven't pulled the trigger on all my bookmarks of your tweets. So like if Real Madrid put in a bid and it gets rejected, you are cooked, bro.
Oh
my!
no.
I know the last few weeks you've been we're not getting him, but I remember in June.
July.
I
Be
remember
careful.
July. I
Hey,
remember
not
July.
June.
I remember July. So I just want this saga to end, bro.
I'm so sick and tired of it. The amount of players we've lost because of this guy, bro. I'm so sick of him.
I've honestly think like if he goes, I want him to go to Madrid and I want him to fail. Like I don't think it will work because this is a freaking, like 3 years of he's coming. Like the excitement is like
man.
just.
Bro,
I'm
the
so
people
sick.
post jersey edits of him from the 2017-18 season. They're like, Mbappe is coming. I was like, do you not see the problem of what you're posting?
Yeah.
Like,
I
oh
don't.
my
Yeah.
god.
I hope the like Madrid bid just for slander purposes, but I don't think they're that. They've been embarrassed too much.
Four
Even what's
times.
his name for Florentina, bro? I don't think he can take it,
Even
man.
after
Too old.
2024, bro, I'm telling you, they're gonna do the same thing. It's not going anywhere. This guy and Madrid will be linked all the way until he signs his bajillion year extension, or he's gonna keep doing this garbage.
I think he's coming to Arsenal in 2024.
Man, you are so sick, bro. Stop.
Mbappe to Arsenal 2024. Hype train starts
I remember the
now.
Super League happened, and the first thing you said wasn't even about the Super League. It was like, yes, we have Mbappe funds.
You know, my biggest when the Super League stuff was, I was like, we're gonna get relegated out of this because we were so ass.
They were
back
so
then.
garbage. Yes.
Oh my god,
Oh
that's when we were
my Lord.
freaking
Like
oh my
eighth.
god, yeah,
Oh my
fucking
Lord.
playing Torreira and Cedric.
Oh,
We got
there-
Cedric and Pablo Mari that winter. Oh,
No, bad days, bad days. We don't talk about. We're
Yeah.
starting Rob Holding, so don't talk
I'm,
about.
I'm done, bro. I'm
With that,
done.
you're
Get me
done.
out of here. Get
But
me out of here.
it's been good. 10 episodes. Hopefully, the
Yes,
next
sir.
10 will be even better than the first 10. But it's good stuff, and hopefully, we can come back next week with more wins for our
I
clubs.
think next week's also the Champions League draw. So
Yes.
hopefully we get
some
that.
really,
Yes.
really good stuff to talk about. But
Yeah.
as always, Abdi, a pleasure.
Inshallah,
And
bro.
inshallah, onto much more.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Take
man.
care,
Take care of
everyone.
you guys. Yep. Peace.